chased by hounds. Round and round we go, wearing a pinche rabbit's foot for luck, just ahead of the fucking hounds. ¿Qué hubo? ¡Ah! ¡Qué vida es! ¡Qué loca vida, home!
Como decimos en México, hay que dejarnos de mamadas. No hay que... Los cinturones aquí se hacen a un lado. Hay que pelear por honor y por gloria nada más.
I invite him into the ring, and like we say in Mexico, we don't fuck around. We don't fight for rings and stuff like that. I don't fear anyone.
En este deporte no se viene a jugar y no le tengo miedo a nadie.
We don't come to play in this sport. I fear no one in this sport.
What's your prediction for the fight, then?
Prediction?
Yes, prediction.
Pain.
Como decimos en México, hay que dejarnos de mamadas.
We come out chased by hounds.
Thanks to those joining me live and to those that'll be joining me. We got special guests here, Kenny, and of course GFunky on archive. Check it out, man. A lot we got to talk about today. We're gonna go straight to this. From my understanding, GFunky and Kenny had a discussion on Twitter, so I'm gonna let you take it away, GFunky. Go ahead.
We had a bunch of discussions, man.
Oh yes, definitely, and you know that's what it's all about, man. Yeah. Kenny, I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience, man. Let them know who you are.
Hey, man. First of all, man, I just want to thank you guys for having me on the show, man. Give me an opportunity to talk some boxing out here. You guys do a great job with the show, man, and it's a pleasure to be on. But I'm Kenny Caraway. I'm one half of D-Lo and KC. Midday show on ESPN 1320 Monday through Friday. You can check us out in Sacramento in your cars or whatever, anywhere else you're at, on the radio.com app on ESPN 1320 in the search bar out here in Sacramento, man. So like I said, the pleasure is all mine to be on here, man. I don't get a chance to talk boxing often, so I'm definitely looking forward to this, man.
Yeah, boxing show for sure.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah. And our discussion that we had over on your platform was cut a little short, you know, but we did get a little bit. We got a little taste, you know. We got some appetizers, but now we got the whole dish. You know, we're gonna dig in now. So
yes, sir.
So Kenny, I want to know. You know, I know you said when we talked last that you weren't feeling Teofimo Lopez, man. So. We want to know what's up with you and the champ, man. The champ at 135. What's going on, man?
He's not undisputed. So let's get that straight. First of all, you know, he likes to say he's undisputed. He's not undisputed. But look, let me tell you what it is. I'm just not feeling Teo, kind of personally, right? Like I don't know him obviously, but I'm just not feeling his vibe. The way I feel about him, it doesn't have anything to do with what I think of him as a fighter. Like I think he's a hell of a fighter, a great young fighter. I love to see where his career is going to go. You look at these four guys: Teofimo, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, and Tank Davis. I mean, that's the future right there, man. That's the future of the sport right now, and he's definitely right there. He's got the belts, you know. He's got all the bragging rights. So I don't take none of that away from him. His talent, none of that. I don't take none of that away from him. I'm just not feeling the guy. But you know, you can't take away from what he's accomplished so far. Absolutely, man.
Yeah, and so we talked about a few things, man, on Twitter, and you know, we're comparing resumes and stuff like that. So your position is that Haney's the guy for him to fight, or Tank, right? Yeah.
I think, and I would even say Haney. Haney's the other champ. Haney's got the WBC strap. I mean, that's he wants to fight him. Haney wants to fight him. I think that's where he should be fighting.
Okay. So you don't think that Haney should get at least something to show us that he's legit, man? Because I got to be honest, man, that performance against Gamboa, that was not doing it for me, man.
GFunky, I'm gonna ask you a question. You know boxing. do you think Devin Haney is the goods? I'm talking about resume. I'm talking about what you see as a boxer, as a performer. You've seen him more than that Gamboa fight too.
Oh, absolutely.
You think Devin Haney is the goods?
I'll say it like this. I think he's very talented, no doubt about it, but he's still very unproven in my eyes. I need to see him in there with somebody that's going to push this guy, or at least give him a tough fight. Gamboa, Santiago, the guy we fought before, that's just not cutting it for me, man. Like, I'll take a Fortuna. We just seen Fortuna on Saturday knock some guy out. Like, I think that's a good fight for him, man. Fortuna's a tough guy. He hits hard. I would give Haney the edge in that fight, definitely. But I think that Fortuna can show us some things or two about Haney. Can Haney take a punch? Like, we don't know. You know, he hasn't been in there with a guy who's been able to really land a flush shot. And, you know, I need to see him step up first before I say he's the goods, man.
So let me ask you this. No, go ahead, DStyle.
Well, I was gonna ask you. I mean, when you say he's the goods, like what type of goods? Is he Mayweather goods, Zab Judah goods, Corey Spinks goods? Like, well, what goods are you looking at?
I think I'm trying to put a year on this, but I won't do that. I'm just gonna say at some point in time, and let me preface it by saying, out of those four, my favorite is Tank. I love Tank. And I like Devin too, but Tank is my favorite. But even with that being said, there will be a time in his career when we say Devin Haney is the best fighter pound for pound in the game. Like, that's how good I think he is. He's that good. And I'll ask you this. I forgot the guy's name off the top of my head, but the guy, Bob Arum, said he wanted to match up with Teofimo. What's his resume looking like? What's his name? Kambosa? What's his name? How you say his name?
Yeah, I believe that's his name.
What's his resume looking like, man? Come on, how does he deserve a shot over Devin?
Well, he's the mandatory, you know,
Devin the champ.
I hear you, but here's my issue, right? If we're gonna get mad at Teofimo for taking a mandatory, right, then we can't get mad at Lomachenko. You know, I mean, we can't get mad at the situation with Lomachenko and Devin Haney. You know, like, he's fighting his mandatory. Lomachenko didn't, who was Devin Haney at the time.
Yeah, that's right. He ducked him. He ducked the mandatory. That's a fact. Loma didn't want the smoke, and right now, it's looking like Teo don't want the smoke. I think they all know. Ryan Garcia don't want the smoke either. Ryan talk all that talk, but he said, I don't want to fight with Devin Haney. He's just gonna box my up. This is the one. Look, as much as like Tank ain't beating Devin Haney. Devin Haney is the goods. Like, he's that dude. Now, there's something to be said to, like, if Teo fights him now, I think this will be the time to get Devin. Devin's 21. He hasn't grown into his man strength and all this other stuff. This will be the time. You don't want to face Devin when he's like 25. You don't want that. So if I was Teo or any of these, I try to get Devin now. While, like you said, GFunky, he hasn't, maybe you could catch him on a night where you give him something he hasn't seen before. But the more he gets experience in the ring and the more he matures into his body as a man, I'm telling you, you want to take a chance with Devin now, not 3-4 years from now. Because he might be unstoppable at that point.
Maybe.
Yeah. Those are big shoes to fill.
Who's to know how good Teofimo Lopez would be in 3-4 years?
He might. You know, he's still young too. What is he, 23?
Yeah, these are babies, man. Yeah, these are babies.
He's still young too. So I think the way I look at those four, I look at Ryan and I look at his hand speed. It's second to none. It's absolutely second to none. Okay. And I see what he's able to do. I don't know what Ryan's chin is looking like, and I don't know if you get physical with Ryan, what he's able to do. All the hitting the mitts, and that's all pretty and stuff like that. But sometimes you got to get in the trenches. I don't know if Ryan has that yet. I'm not saying he doesn't. We haven't seen him there yet. So that's that.
Yeah, I agree.
Teo, I think is because I don't think he's going to stay in that 135. Like, he's the naturally biggest of them all. Like, he's solid. He's big. He's a problem for all those guys size-wise, and he's got knockout power himself. Tank is probably really a 130, but he's at 135, and he thinks he can fight in 135. I think he's Ryan is up there too as far as like the biggest draw and the biggest star. Tank is a star. Tank is a superstar. He finished the show, in most of his fights so far. He finishes the show. I call him all the time the best show in the game. I think he's the best show in the game of boxing. He's must-see TV. He finishes the show when he's out there, and he does it in spectacular fashion. Devin, I think, is the best boxer. Devin is the best. He's got it all. I think he's going to grow into some power. He's the best. So that's how I handicap all these guys. Like, they all got their strengths, and I guess you could say weaknesses. They're things that they bring to the table better than the other guys.
Let me ask you this, because I know you're saying Teo is going to duck Haney, right? Or is ducking Haney, especially if he takes the Cambosa's fight. Why, in that case, since they're in the same division, why isn't Tank ducking Devin Haney?
They did a lot of trash talking, yeah.
I think they should fight. I would love for them to fight. The only thing I'll say, the only thing I'll say about all these things is that I think the business of boxing plays into it a little bit. Even with Teo and fighting Devin Haney, I do understand where that needs to be in front of a crowd. Like, I do get that. So, like, all these guys fighting each other, Ryan and Tank's other stuff, I would give all of them, as much as he didn't go, like, right now, I would give all of them one more fight in March, whoever, until maybe this pandemic clears out, and maybe in the summer and the fall, these guys can match up with a crowd. Because I do think that matters. Tank versus Santa Cruz, that was phenomenal to see the energy in the building, have fans there. I missed that. I think we all.
I agree. Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
So I think I think your audio cut off there.
Can you hear us, Kenny?
Yeah.
Oh, you're actually on mute. Yeah, your mic's on mute. Just there you go.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay, cool. No, but I was just saying the energy in the Alamo Dome is something that we all missed. And if they can maybe hold off all these guys for one more fight, if we're actually fighting each other later in the summer and the fall, I'd be okay with that. I really would. So
I think, like, here's the thing that I find with Teo. If you don't mind me asking, I know you said you're not going to take anything away from him as a fighter, but he just rubs you the wrong way, or like, what is it about Teo that you don't like personally?
He just be running his mouth, man. He just be running his mouth, talking about he's this, he's that. I know that they all kind of do it, but to sit up here and act like. So he talks out of both sides of his mouth, him and his dad, right? So they're on there, with Devin's dad, and they talking about, we don't care about the belts, we don't care about the money, it's all about the legacy or whatever. And then Devin's dad is like, all right, well, let's go in March. And then Big Teo is like, well, why would we take a $2 million fight with you instead of taking a $10 million fight with the dude in Australia? I was like, bro, you just said you ain't about the money. He's sitting up here saying, let's make the fight right now, and all of a sudden it's about the money. And Teo's more the same. He don't talk as much of his dad, although he's starting to talk as much of as his dad does. But
backing it up, I mean,
he's good.
I mean, if anybody's earned that right, it's him so far. I mean,
let's be honest, right? Let's look at it like, how does a team get to the Super Bowl? If we're honest, like, they got to go through the playoffs, right? They got to get through divisional playoff, then the NFC or AFC championship, then they get to the Super Bowl. I feel like Teo's done that by beating two reigning champions in Comey and Lomachenko. He's there waiting, for even if you don't think he's undisputed, he's there waiting in the Super Bowl. And I feel like these guys want to play in the Super Bowl without fighting anybody. How about Tank Davis and Haney fight each other, and the winner of that fight fights Teofimo Lopez? Why does Teofimo Lopez need to line these guys up and fight all of them? You know what I mean? I just feel like
you're the champ. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. You're the champ. You're not going to be a fighting champion? You're going to take what is my man named Cambose? What is Cambose? Cambose ain't done nothing. He ain't done nothing. Devin Haney's the champ and the WBC champion. Whether they want to call him email or whatever, he's the champion. And you rather take this soft cut instead of fighting Devin Haney.
But here's the other obstacle. So he signed a deal with DAZN. So is he going to come fight on ESPN?
That's a big obstacle.
That's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing, and that's the issue. That's the issue. That's absolutely the issue. Devin needs to get off. He needs to get off the zone as soon as possible. I think he needs to go to PBC. I think Al would do good with his career. That's the other thing. I'm not really a Bob Arum guy at all. Like Bob Arum trash to me. I'm not feeling Bob at all. I love for all these guys to get off the top rank, you know, T.O. included, whatever.
Yeah,
I think Bob Arum is just even the whole. I was reading up on it a couple of days ago about the whole franchise belt and all this other stuff, and he got T.O. out here looking bad because T.O.'s talking about I ain't never asked for no franchise, this and that. He didn't even. It's obvious that Bob Arum was the one that asked for the franchise belt and asked for that to be available to him in his fight, and he didn't even let T.O. know. So he got T.O. out here talking about things that he don't even know about, and that's not even T.O.'s fault. That's Bob Arum, and he got him out here looking bad. And then you see what Bob Arum doing with Bud and all this other stuff. It's just a long line of the things he did. So I'd love to see T.O. all these guys get off the top rank or something.
Like here's the thing, right? And we go back to like Tank, for example, right? So T.O. talks trash. He does, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But Tank was laughing at Devin, right?
Mm-hmm.
They went in at each other.
I think they should fight.
He even insinuated something like, hey, don't even make me bring up old girl and stuff like that, right? So that's kind of, you know, so he's talking trash too. Like, you know, like I think they all talk to trash, you know.
Absolutely. Here's the thing. Here's the thing with Tank. Is he gonna fight Devin next? Is he gonna fight T.O. next? I don't think so. But I can promise you he ain't fighting no Cambos. Because to be pay-per-view, you can't fight those type of dudes. So these are things I always talk about with like Floyd and everything. And people talk about Floyd ducking, all this other stuff. The strategy to the pay-per-view is you can't fight no soft touch. You can't fight no scrubs because ain't nobody paying for no scrubs. It don't matter how good you are. You need to have somebody that at the very least the public thinks serves a challenge to you. This dude Caboose or whoever the case may be, ain't nobody paying for T.O. versus Caboose. So it's going to be on free TV, and nobody's going to get this dude any kind of shot. Tank can't take that kind of fight.
You're telling me right now that Teofimo Lopez doesn't first of all, Camo's not a bum. I mean, I'm not saying he's top echelon, but he's not like, you know, a bum either. He's a top 10 lightweight. You know what I mean? At least
he's a mandatory to the IBF,
and he's the mandatory. Like you do got to fight him. He earned the mandatory spot, right? You don't think it's okay for him to fight that after fighting like two reigning world champions back to back? Like we're gonna say, okay, you're ducking everybody if he takes the Camboza's fight next?
I mean, here's the thing. If you talk as much as T.O. does, yeah, you ducking. Because you talking about Devin's this and that, and he emailed, you got memes every other day talking about Devin's email and Tank is fat and all this other stuff. And you run in your mouth, but then you go fight this other dude. And Devin is saying, let's fight. Like you talking crazy about Devin and all this other stuff. Devin's like, all right, let's fight. And when it comes down to putting the pen to paper, you want to fight this other dude. I don't respect that. And to your question, to answer your question, I think Tank and Haney should fight too. They run in their mouth, they talking about each other. Let's settle it in the ring. Absolutely.
You should.
Yeah.
I think they both need, especially. I mean, at least Tank has Leo Santa Cruz. At least, like Devin doesn't have anybody in his resume. Nobody.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you guys right now.
You don't even have a Camboza's in his resume.
I'm gonna tell you guys right now. Don't none of these people want to see Devin. They don't want to see Devin. They don't want to see him.
I think honestly, that's the same reason why.
That's the same reason why Lomachenko ran from him. They don't want to see Devin.
But when you say he's running from him, right? What, 10 feet? Like there hasn't been that much time to run. They never really crossed paths like that, right?
They can fight now. They can fight now, and he don't want to fight. I'm just saying. Like I really don't think Tank wants to fight him right now. More importantly, I don't think Floyd wants Tank to fight Devin right now, and I don't think T.O. wants to fight Devin right now. Ryan has already said he don't want to fight Devin. And Lomachenko ran from Devin.
Is Spence stuck in Crawford? In your opinion?
Absolutely not.
Why not? Crawford
Because
called
he's
him
not.
out.
He's saying let's fight.
No, he said I'm gonna go get all the other belts, and in the meantime, and I'll meet you in the end. He said something like that.
He already said we can fight and we gonna fight. They were supposed to fight, I think, before the pandemic and the car crash.
I mean, Teofimo Lopez said let's fight too. They FaceTime and everything.
Let me ask you a question. Who did Terrence Crawford say he want to fight next?
Last I heard.
Last I heard, he wants to fight these other guys on PBC.
No. Who did Terrence Crawford say he want to fight next?
Spence.
No, he didn't. He said he want to fight Manny Pacquiao.
Okay, well, he did.
Oh,
say Manny,
yeah.
He's also saying
That's
Spence.
who he said he want to fight next. So I don't think Terrence is. I think Terrence. I'm starting to worry. I'm starting to wonder if he really wants that fight. Huh?
Spence said he would fight Pacquiao too.
Yeah, they both want to fight him because they want that bag. They want that Pacquiao bag. Absolutely.
But here's the situation. So what I hear a lot is like when they have that confrontation at one time at a fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he was calling out Spence, and Spence said, "Well, I'm going to collect all the belts, and then I'll meet you at some point." But
and he's done that. He ready.
Oh, okay, but what was he ducking for? So here's what I want to say, right? So when Spence fought Ocampo, was that him ducking all the other champions, or was that him just honoring his mandatory?
No, Spence was also one of those guys that nobody wanted to fight. Spence was the boogeyman for a minute. Until he went to England to go take a belt. Like they wouldn't go come there. He went to England and said, "I'll go take the belt."
Cal Brook, great performance, right?
Great win, yeah.
Great win, and then Crawford beat him a little better, but that's okay, right?
Yeah, Cal Brook was washed, but Crawford was great though. Crawford's great.
But here's what I'm trying to say. So he beats Cal Brook, right? And then he has a mandatory in Ocampo, right? So people weren't saying, "Oh, well, why isn't he fighting Crawford? Well, why isn't he fighting the other champions? Why Ocampo?" Like this guy, right? The Australian, right? Cambozas is the mandatory, just like Ocampo was for Spence. You have to fight your mandatory. You know what I mean? So I'm okay with Teofimo fighting, his mandatory, just like it was okay for Spence to fight his mandatory.
All I'm saying, and I'm kind of projecting here.
Sure.
I don't think Tio's gonna fight Devin. I don't think he's gonna fight him.
How do we know?
I think he's gonna go up to 140 before he has to fight him. I don't think he's gonna fight Devin.
So if he does move to 140 and fights, let's say, the winner of Taylor Ramirez, right, or something like that for undisputed, I mean, are we gonna criticize him for making that move? That's a hell of a fight.
Man, like I said, he running his mouth. He's saying Devin is this and that and all this other stuff. I'm just telling you right now, he ain't fighting Devin. He's not gonna fight him.
I think that's a stretch. I don't think he's afraid of Devin.
You could do with that. You could do with that whatever you want. I'm just saying he will not fight Devin Haney.
Oh, wow. That's a confident guarantee right there.
Yeah.
I'll come right back on the show if they sign the contract, a year from now or whatever. I'll be like, man,
so I appreciate it.
I'm on the record. I'll come back a year from now or whatever and be like, man, I was wrong. I can't wait to see the fight. But he ain't fighting Devin Haney. I see it now.
I'll be honest with you, man. I don't think after that performance of Gamboa, I don't think anybody's like, I don't know if I want to get in the ring with Devin Haney. I mean,
here's what I want to say about Devin Haney, which I think there should be some worry for guys with Devin. And let me explain to you what it is. So when Floyd started, right? Floyd was knocking dudes out at 130 and 135. You know
he
what
was
I mean?
destroying guys back then.
Yes. Mantled Gotti at 140, and then he went to 147, right?
Yeah.
And then that's when Floyd had to, he was fighting bigger guys. He had to outbox him, right?
He had bad hands at that point too.
Yes, true. Yeah. But Devin Haney has bad hands right now. He can't crack an egg. He can't like he has Malinaji power. Okay. And I think that's a problem when he's literally big for the weight class, and it's going to be moving up to 140 with bigger, stronger men soon. And that, I think that's going to be problematic for Devin, especially then if he goes to 147, that's going to be problematic for Devin. I think Devin has to find a way to sit on those punches and hurt guys because right now he's not hurting anybody.
So you guys know boxing as good as anybody. Gamboa got knocked down and eventually knocked out against Tank. And he went in there against Devin and he thought he saw something. And Devin was just peppering him with the jab and just keeping him at arm. Gamboa couldn't get in. And I really felt Not to say that he would have knocked him out anyway. I don't know. But I really felt after about round 3 or 4, Gamboa was just in there to make it to the distance. Like that's kind of what I thought. And if you're, it's kind of difficult to go in there and knock somebody out when they're looking to survive. Same thing happened with Spence and Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia it was a victory for him to get to the 12th round. I mean, what's his name? Teofimo didn't really do much to Lomachenko, and he's this big puncher. And Lomachenko's a smaller guy by far, and he didn't do nothing. He didn't do much to him as far as power and hurting him.
Well, we saw what happened later half of that fight, man. He was busting up Lomachenko.
No,
almost knocked him out in the 10th round, man.
Later half of that fight, when Lomachenko started fighting, this is what we'd be talking about, GFunky. Later half of that fight, when Lomachenko let them hands go, he started putting a hurting on Teo.
Oh, I don't know about that. Did you see that body shot in the 10th round, man? That was a good body shot on the borderline. Hurt him, man. Hurt him. And hurt him in the 12th.
So are you making an argument that we should see a rematch?
I think there should. I think there should be a rematch. That's another thing that I don't like about Teo.
So let me ask you this:
I think
should he rematch?
Well, that was Lomachenko's decision to not put a rematch clause in the contract.
Here's what I'm trying to convey about Teofimo Lopez, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like no matter what he does, people are going to accuse him of ducking somebody, right? If he fights Devin, oh look, he's ducking a rematch with Lomachenko, and he's ducking.
I wouldn't say that.
Oh, he's ducking Tank, yeah.
He's ducking Haney, he's ducking a rematch. If he does a rematch, oh look, see, he's ducking Tank, he's ducking it that's the main issue I have. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't say that. I think one of the initial tweets that me and G had talked about is I said there's no reason why Devin shouldn't be his next fight. And to be honest with you, I think Lomachenko deserves a rematch if he wants it. I don't know if Lomachenko wants it, but if he wants it, I think he deserves a rematch. He didn't have to take that fight. He didn't have to give Teo that opportunity.
I think here's what I think, and I think you'll agree with this. I think I believe anyway that he should go a different route, and maybe I think Lomachenko Tank Davis is a good fight to make right now.
Or Devin Haney.
A lot of fight fans wanted to see that fight for a long time.
Devin's too big for Loma. There's a reason Loma been running from him. Loma been running from Devin Haney.
I think that's a good fight, man. Lomachenko versus Devin Haney.
What about Tank though? Because Tank didn't want that
Tank would be a
work.
Tank ran from Loma, bro. We know that. He ran from Loma.
So here's the deal. Tank just started getting with Floyd. I think Floyd looked at Tank as not being ready. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. Like, I don't think Tank was ready. I think there's still things that Tank has to work on. But I think that would be a great fight. I'd love to see Tank versus Loma. Tank. See, the thing with all these things, the reason why Tank is a little bit of a wild card, he has the power and stuff, but he's smaller than all these guys. Like, I don't know about Ryan. I got to see more from Ryan, but I think between Devin and Teo, if they got on their boxing game, they just keep Tank at arm's length, and I think they would beat Tank, both of those guys. So I think Tank really, even though he don't want to stay there, I think Tank really is a 130. You know what I'm saying? I really think that's where he's at. Just like Loma. Like, Loma went up to 135, won a couple belts, won a couple fights or whatever, but going up against a true 135, a bigger 135 against Teo, it showed that that's not where he should be at.
I have a solution. Okay, go back to 130, Loma, and fight Tank Davis at 130. He fought Leo.
I'd love to see that fight. I think Tank knocks him out. To be honest with you, I think
it's a good fight, man. But here's what I'll say to Loma being small at 135. I mean, did he come up in weight? Yeah, but at the same time, he beat Petraza, who was a champion, beat him pretty good, knocked him down, knocks out.
Tank destroyed that man, by the way. Tank destroyed that man.
Oh, yeah. Knocked out Linares, who was a champion. Both these guys were champions, and then he beats a Luke Campbell. I mean, he's knocking all these guys down and knocking one of them out. So, I mean, I don't think he's that small for the division, And I want to ask you this, Kenny.
Yeah.
Based off the body of work right now, because I know you said Devin's the guy, in your opinion. But based off the body of work right now, who would you say is the king at 135?
At 135,
Who has the Iron Throne?
It's Tio.
You know what I mean?
Tio's the guy right now. He's got the belts. He's got the biggest win. He's the guy right now.
Absolutely.
I ain't no hater, man. I ain't no hater. I don't like the dude, but I ain't no hater, man.
Grape Drink makes a good point in the chat. He says, I disagree. Once you're a champion, you're ready to fight anyone in your division. Tank should have been ready to fight Loma. He was a champion at the time. You know what I mean? Like you said earlier, hey, when you're the king, when you're a champion, you got to fight whoever's in front of you. So
I agree.
I think it's fair to say that
same Tio should be held to the same standard.
I agree.
Should be held to the same. So he should be fighting Devin Haney. He should be fighting Devin Haney on this next fight.
That's not going to happen. We already know that. But
I told you it ain't happening. He ain't fighting Devin Haney. It ain't happening.
It's not because he doesn't want it, though. That's my point. It's not because he doesn't want it.
Man.
You know, it's promotional things. I think he beats Devin Haney. I think he knocks Devin Haney smooth out. I mean, I don't know if Devin Haney can take a punch or not, man. I don't know.
Like, in fairness, we don't know if Devin Haney could take a clean shot from a real punch.
I know this. I had to fight 116, 112 Tio over Loma, right? Loma. The reason why he took the Tio fight is because he thought it was a fight he could win. It was an easy fight. He looked at Devin Haney and didn't think he could win that fight. That's why he ducked him. So he thought he could do his normal thing where he kind of, just feels the guy out, and how they say on the broadcast, takes down data and all this other stuff. And Tio was doing what he was supposed to do. He was winning rounds. When it got late and it was like when Loma stepped on the gas, he started piecing up Tio. He started piecing him up. And he won 8 rounds probably 7 through 11. And then Tio closed it out like a champion does and won in round 12. Absolutely. My point is, when Loma decided it was time to fight, he started piecing that boy up.
Well, I don't know here's what I say to that. Let me respond to that, DStyle. Here's what I think happened. Loma got so far behind that he had no choice but to fight. He didn't want to. It was clear he didn't want to fight. He clearly didn't want to go toe to toe with Teofimo in the beginning of that fight. He had no choice, and when he did, I think there was a lot of good 50-50 exchanges in those later rounds. Now I gave Lomachenko 3 rounds. The only swing round that was there that you could possibly swing to Lomachenko will be round 8, but they both landed the same amount of punches that round. He was busting up Lomachenko, man. Lomachenko got some good shots in there. Don't get me wrong, he did. But Lomachenko, I think, if he would have started early, I think if that happens from round 1 on, I don't think Lomachenko makes it out of the 7th round. I think he gets knocked out.
There was a moment in that fight when
show out when the time came is what happened. I mean, and he had his moments, but then what happened in the end? I mean, Theo took control again. But here's what I want to say: the reason.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I want to say. I mean, I know that you kind of worded it like, well, he didn't fight Devin because he's scared of Devin. He fought Theo because he thought he could beat Theo. Actually, I felt he fought Teofimo Lopez for the same reasons Spence fought Porter and is now fighting Danny Garcia and all that. Is because they're under the same banner. And
that's got something to do with it as well.
A lot easier to make.
Yeah.
That's got something to do with it as well. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that plays a part of it.
Give me some final thoughts there, Kenny.
Yes, sir.
Thoughts.
And this, I already know this ain't gonna make y'all happy. I know we go. I shouldn't say happy, but we're gonna have a little. I'm gonna say it, and then I'm gonna open the floor for discussion, and we're gonna have a little 5-minute thing, real quick. All right.
Okay.
Errol Spence is the best fighter in the world. Number 1 pound for pound. Errol Spence is.
I mean, it doesn't make me unhappy. I just
I don't get too outraged over for pound lists because I don't even do them myself. It's just never been a thing of mine.
It's all fun. Fun.
I think
it's Errol, Terrence, and Canelo in that order.
I think if I had to pick one guy based off of what he's done throughout his entire career, I would have to put Canelo there. I mean, he's got some names, and he's doing his thing, man. I mean, Spence, I love Spence. I love Crawford too. If I was to make a list, I would have Crawford pretty high up there as well. But like I said, I've just never really been into it. I like when guys go for undisputed, and Crawford did that at 140, and that's something that's got to be respected. Same thing with Usyk. We got Ramirez and Taylor looking to go undisputed. I mean, I love that. because that leaves no doubt, And I know you don't like this, but I mean, Teofimo he's the undisputed guy at 135, man. I mean, Haney was handed the belt, bro. He was handed the belt. He didn't beat nobody for it.
You don't have the WBC belt. You can't be undisputed.
Well,
that franchise belt is a gimmick belt, so people can duck. That's why it was invented. So, and this is no disrespect. Canelo got it, so he don't have to fight the Charlos, and Loma got it, so he don't have to fight Devin Haney.
Well, Charlo.
That's what it's for.
Let me give my thoughts real quick on the Devin Haney thoughts. I'm sorry, on Spence. Here's what I do want to say about Spence. He definitely has. If it's not the best, it's like top two. Like to me, just off the top of my head, best jab in the business. You know what I mean? That's a really good jab that he's got. Okay. Yeah. I'm a fan of Spence. I think he's really good. I really do hope that he's the same fighter, because I know. Because none of us really know because of the crash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're going to find out, because
absolutely
one thing Danny's going to do is challenge him.
Hey, and I'm glad, real quick, I'm glad you brought that up. Danny Garcia, I think Danny Garcia is a hell of a fighter. People looking at this is like, this is just, Spence coming back, and man, Danny Garcia, in my opinion, is one of the top fighters in the game, man. He has one of those things where he starts slow, and he's like a traditional counterpuncher. So, he's not really aggressive. But if Spence is diminished in any way, Danny will find that out, and he gonna come with it. So that's gonna be.
Dude, I tell you, when I heard the announcement earlier this year that he was fighting Garcia and he wasn't taking a tune-up, I was just like, wow, like this is crazy, because Garcia, everyone that's been in with Garcia says this guy can crack.
Yeah, man.
And he's got good timing on that left hook. So I'm not going to look at it as Spence, pre-car crash or anything like that. Like when I do my prediction, I'm just going to think about it as Spence as without that happening, because I don't want to take anything away from Garcia if he wins that fight. But I do think Spence wins that fight, but I think it's a tough fight for him, man, for sure.
It should be a tough fight. Danny Garcia is the real deal. I agree.
Now, with that said, I still think, as of right now, as things stand, I mean, I kind of have to say Canelo was the top guy. In fact,
I don't have a problem with that.
Spence himself says Canelo's number one pound for pound.
Yeah, he did rank him.
I ain't got no problem with that. Canelo, I have some. I got some issues with the resume, but the names are there, right? Like you can't take that away from him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's a good fighter. Like he passed the eye test for me. Canelo's a hell of a fighter. Like I look at him, I feel like he's gotten better over the years. He's improved on his game. Canelo is one of the best in the game, absolutely. So I think any of those three, if anybody's making a list, however you have them, I don't have any problem with them. Any of those guys in any kind of order. But I think, to me personally, those are clearly the top three fighters in the game. I know they talk about in a way, and I don't know, man. Like I can't lie to you. I'm always the little guys. It's hard for me to have them number one because they don't face the same type of competition as somebody at welterweight or even where lightweight is right now. The 118s, they don't face the same type of elite competition on a regular basis. So it's hard for me to put those guys up in number one like they're doing with anyway.
I think in recent eras, the welterweights have been pretty good.
Yes,
definitely. Yeah. So it can depend on the era, but hey, it was definitely good to have you on, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate you guys.
Kenny, I want to let you know, Kenny, we do what's called HCP Uncensored on my platform, and that's an open forum, and anytime you want to jump on, man, you could just let me know. Because I know how it is, man. I know it's frustrating when you're talking all the other sports and you can't get boxing in, Yeah,
I love me some boxing, man. I love me some boxing. They be putting a shot clock on me on the radio show, man.
Yeah.
Nobody want to hear about boxing, but man, we out here. But
they don't even give you a men's round. It's like a women's round, just 2 minutes.
Yeah, we got 2 minutes on the air.
I know, right? Let me ask real quick, because I know you guys gotta go. What you guys think about Xavier Martinez?
I think he showed some good heart, man. I would thought he was done that 9th round. I thought he was done. I was worried, man. I'm not gonna lie. I was calling the fight live on my channel, and I'm like, damn, he's gonna get knocked out when I call one of his fights. But the fact that he got up from those knockdowns and came back and boxed well showed a lot, man. I really like that in fight. Those are fighters that you can't overlook, man, when they do stuff like that.
Absolutely, yeah. So hopefully, the hope is, because I've actually had him on the show a couple times, so I'm trying to, boost his profile and hopefully, he has something at the Golden One Center one day.
Oh, yeah. That'd be beautiful.
We can all get together at the G1C, man, and watch some live boxing, man.
I'll be there once this pandemic's over, man. And once it's over, man, we got to watch some boxing together, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Always. I know what we won't watch, though. We're not going to watch Teofimo versus Haney. That ain't happening.
Well, I'll tell you what, when it does happen and he knocks Haney out, we'll be together.
We're going to be right there together, man. We're going to watch that.
That's right.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, man.
Anytime, Kenny. Thanks for coming on, man.
All right. Take care, fellas.
You too.
Kenny Caraway. There you go, guys. All right. Great discussion. Could catch him on the radio over there in Sacramento.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
13:20 a.m. You could get them online too. They have a great show, man. So check them out.
Yeah, you got to talk really, really fast if you have a boxing question. Just let you know. Man, we got a great show, man. I mean, a lot to talk about, guys. I mean, look. First of all, let me just ask you this question. I believe it's a rhetorical question, Chief Funky. All right. Actually, before I do that, let me just go over the chat really quick, man. Everybody's been so patient. I appreciate that. No Paul Boxianos, Run PMC, Sonteo Media, Big Dog Willie. We got 92.8KU. GFunky's even in the chat. Run PMC. Neon Eyes, Mexico Native, Sonteo Media, Joe Lopez 40 ounce. Shout out to all of you. Al T, ¿Qué pasó, raza? D Hodges, what's going on, man? There we go. All right. I think Grape Trang, Gorgoruga, all you guys, man. I appreciate the support and you guys being here. Chief Funky. Really simple question. Which current active fighter has the best resume in the lightweight division?
No doubt about it. The takeover, Teofimo Lopez, man. No doubt.
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, no matter how anybody tries to flip it, switch it, whatever the case is, look, man, he's the only active guy right now, right, that has belts, that's beating reigning champions. He's the only one that has toppled two of them. Two.
Yep.
Right? So I'm just saying. I know Chief Funky's pumped. Look how pumped he is.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, based off the work that's been put in, the guy has stepped up in just 16 fights. 16 fights. We got a guy who's in my opinion undisputed. Now I know that there's people that say otherwise, but to me, if you don't beat a guy for a champion, I can't call you a champion. I'm sorry. If you can't beat a guy for that belt, then I can't call you. I mean, that's for years we've called that. No disrespect to Devin Haney, because Devin Haney put himself in position to fight for that belt. Now the WBC went and did some punk stuff with this whole franchise thing. I agree with that. I don't like the idea. But that's literally the definition of a paper champion. Given a belt without fighting anybody for it, man. And, he looks good. Like I told Kenny, I said, I think he's very talented, but I need to see those things tested in a real fight. Like, I'm not going to just buy a car without I'm not going to buy a car without test driving it. I need to see how that thing performs. You know what I'm saying? Under stress, under whatever, So that's my stance on Haney right now. Right. Talented, but unproven.
I want somebody to give me someone at lightweight right now, that's including Lomachenko, with a better resume at lightweight. Just find me one. One other fighter with a better resume than Teofimo Lopez. Find me one. If you may, please. If I keep hearing, this guy and that guy, Theo isn't doing this and Theo isn't doing that, why should Teofimo Lopez do all these things? Why does he have to do everything? Why can't we get these other guys? Why can't Haney fight Tank?
Yeah.
Well, why isn't Tank accused of, all this stuff? Come on, guys. We know what time it is, guys. I mean, Tank Davis, he's got to do what Floyd says, guys. But, Teofimo Lopez, you know he's ducking, guys. We
I
know what
loved
time
it.
it is, guys. I have to keep hearing all this crap that somehow Teofimo Lopez, like the system has his back or some shit. You know what I mean? And they're keeping all these fighters away from him when he's fought the best in the weight class.
He's put in the work.
Can I get an answer? I'll take. Give me better opposition at lightweight for 1,000. Anybody? Anybody? Can I take has a better resume than Teofimo Lopez at lightweight for 4,000? Anyone? Anybody? 92 Aku, stop being cute. Pacquiao not even a lightweight.
Right? You gotta love that guy. You gotta love him.
Can somebody please give me a name? Can I take? Beat a reigning world champion for 5,000 right there, GFunky.
I'm not taking that.
Anything?
I'm not taking that. No.
No. I mean, come on. I'm ready for Jeopardy, baby. I am. Watch. People. All right, just get me in front of the thing. I'm ready. You know what I mean?
There it is.
I'll take Teofimo Lopez beat better opposition for 10,000, please.
Yeah, and hey,
so if it was for 10,000, GFunky, right? For 10,000, can you get this Jeopardy question? You ready? Has the best resume at lightweight?
Teofimo Lopez.
Who is Teofimo Lopez?
Who is, yes. It's I rest in peace to Alex Trebek, who was the longtime host of that show, man. Good show.
That's right. Right. Rest in peace. Okay. Look, man, we just got to get that out there. You know what I mean? And then, look, we welcome differences of opinion. We just had somebody on here, right? We could have that discussion. But at the end of the day, what's fact is fact, right? Even if they disagree with us, right, they still got to say Teofimo Lopez, he's on the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
Right? He's on King's Landing right now. Teofimo Lopez is that guy. That's Teofimo Lopez. Anyway, check it out. Jake Paul will be fighting this weekend, GFunky. It's a headline on boxing scene.
Can't wait, bro. Damn.
Are you looking forward to this fight, GFunky?
Dude, I am ready for this fight, man. I mean, this is candidate for fight of the year, man. Paul versus Robinson. I mean, we got one guy who's, I believe, 1-1 in his career, and another guy who's never had a fight. You know, I don't even think he's an NBA player. Come on, it's oh my gosh. Baby. Nate Robinson, and look, I loved Nate Robinson in the NBA. This guy is 5'9", and I believe he's won the dunk contest multiple times, if you can believe that. And multiple times, a guy 5'9" winning the dunk contest. So, I mean, just a really good NBA player, great athlete. Don't know if he can fight or not. We're gonna find out in a couple days. I mean, Jake Paul, we seen him fight, and I don't know. I don't even really know if he can fight. You know. So
look at this story. Look at the title to this boxing scene story. The story of the day. This is the story of the day on boxing scene. The largest boxing website on planet Earth. Okay. The story of the day. Nate Robinson finds his true self in the ring against Jake Paul. That's the story. Like, I mean, they did a whole story on this shit. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on over here? What? That's the story of the day. What's going on? What is this?
This is crazy, man.
Jake Paul, but it's not even Logan Paul. We're getting the bootleg Paul. You know what I mean?
I just don't understand how these promoters could put up so much money for Tyson versus Jones, and this is the co-main event, the co-feature. Like, one guy who's who's not a professional fighter, never fought before in a ring, and then one guy who's fought a couple times against I don't know who. I mean, I think he fought that KSI dude and lost to him. Now, I know people think that Paul should have got that win. He was robbed of a knockdown, and they took a point, and he ended up losing on points. But this is what they're giving us. Like, I mean, come on, man. Like, this is crazy, man. Like, I'm gonna say something crazy right now, more crazy than the fight itself. I'm picking the guy who has no experience in the ring to win this fight. I'm picking Nate Robinson to win this fight.
I don't even know how you could make a prediction on this fight. Like, we don't know anything about like how Nate Robinson can throw hands. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know anything. Like we don't know how he's gonna react when he gets punched. You know what I mean? Is he gonna go like this when he gets punched and go like, I just don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Is he gonna go like this? Like, I just don't know. Like, this is crazy.
I mean, I know Paul's been in the ring a couple of times, but do we really know that about him? I mean, like.
Hey, I mean, like Causin Dialogue says, believe it or not, these fights help the joke, help the sport. That was a hell of a slip right there. You know what I mean?
Man.
How long will Flo continue being a celebrity boxer until he loses his grape drink? Look, if Floyd keeps fighting these MMA fighters and celebrities, he could fight to he's 70 going undefeated. You know what I mean? But look, whether they're good for the sport or not is up for debate, right? I just don't know how to even break this down. Like, I don't even know how to like do this for you guys. Like, how does anyone possibly break down Nate Robinson against Jake Paul? Can anybody in the chat give it a shot? Like, and how about we do this? Give me your predictions in the chat. I mean, I'm feeling the Christmas spirit. I don't know about you, GFunky. Do you feel the Christmas spirit?
I guess.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle all the way. How about this? Okay. Break down. Somebody in the chat, break down to me. Right? Get your crystal ball. Right? And break down for me. Okay, for you Mexicans out there, go to the brujeria so she could do the card thing for you and everything. You know what I mean? Okay, whatever it is, break down Nate Robinson versus Jake Paul, how the fight's going to go down, and what result's going to be. And what do you think we should do for that, GFunky?
I will say, look, if one of you guys in here, like, how many people are here? Let me check real quick. We got 16 people here live right now. Out of all you guys there, you break this thing down as accurate as you can, as realistically as you can, and whoever gets closest to the result that happens, I will send you $5 via Cash App, man.
Cash App.
How about that?
Like, tell us how it's going to go down. Break down. All right, Nate Robinson against Jake Paul for us. Whoever's closest to it, it'll be on the archive.
Yep.
All right. And this only applies to people in the live chat, not to people in the comments on archive or anything like that, okay? Break down this fight. More people coming in. Listen. Break down the fight and the result. Whoever comes closest wins $5.
There you go.
Diaz just says, I got Robinson. He's more athletic. I mean, I guess that's
I would agree. I would agree that he's more athletic for sure. But can he take a punch? Can he punch himself,
Break down the fight for us. Whoever gets it close is going to win money on Cash App.
Yep, break it down for us, guys. We want a nice breakdown there in the chat. And again, whoever comes the closest to it wins money, man. Let's go, guys.
Like from everything. Like, is Nate Robinson going to club him upside the ear and like knock him down and there's going to be in the third round or some shit? Is somebody going to fall out of the ring? Like, I want details on these motherfuckers. Okay?
Well, we got a few. We got Santeo says bootleg. What did he say? Bootleg Paul? Oh, I'm sorry. He's saying something else. We got D Hodge is saying that, he's got Robinson, but we need a little more than that he's just athletic.
For those coming in, you could win money. Okay? You could win money. Just put it in the chat how you think Nate Robinson, because HCP, I got no fucking clue how this fight's gonna go. Well, we got GFunky breaking it down. We have GFunky and Diaz just like, oh yeah, like Nate's gonna win, and like I don't know how you guys know that, but hey, give it a shot. Win some money. Tell us how the fight's gonna go. Whoever's closest wins some money.
Yep, and you come back here next week with your Cash App, whoever it is, and you will be sent $5 right there on the spot for your prediction if it comes true. I'm taking Nate Robinson. Again, I agree with D Hodges. He's a more athletic guy. He's been a professional in his craft, so he's well conditioned. He's been under the bright lights. He's not afraid of the big stage. And he stepped up to the plate against these giants. The guy is 5'9", going against guys that are 7 feet tall sometimes, man. This guy ain't afraid of nobody, man. I'm taking Nate Robinson for the win, man. I think he's going to outbox this dude. I think he's going to stay on the outside, use his legs. He's faster. And I think he's going to outbox him, man. That's what I think. But you guys in the chat, let us know what you think, man. For some money, baby.
100% Nate for the win. Not too cool. Yes, one is a YouTuber. The other one's a professional athlete. Nate, TKO 5th round. Robinson, sloppy white decision. Paul wins by 3rd round KO, says Goruga. All right. Diaz says, no, he has stamina. Robinson played basketball. He could do 12 rounds. It's a 6th-round fight, says Goruga. So for you guys saying 12-round decision, come on now. Bruce goes, who the hell, that ball player, Diaz, he can't fight. How do you guys know the dude can fight? Like, I know he's played in the bright lights, playing basketball.
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't mean he can fight.
And here's what I'm going to say, too. I agree with you guys that he should have the stamina to go the distance if he needs to. But I'm going to tell you like this, man. In high school, a friend of ours who was a good track athlete, very good. One of the best guys we had at our school. Fast as, like a cheetah. This kid was fast. And he would tell,
he was a cheater?
No, he's a cheetah. But he would tell me and my cousin who would train boxing, he would say, you know what, man, it ain't that hard to do, man. I run all day long. Like I could go 12 rounds easy, So we said, okay, let's put the gloves on and let's go. Let's go about 4 or 5 rounds, right? Let me tell you, after those 4 or 5 rounds with me, and again, I wasn't even training to be a real fighter. I was just doing it just to stay in shape when I was a teenager. He was gassed at the end of that fight. He told me, he goes, dude, hey, you were right. I'm dead tired.
Yeah,
so it's different.
Great Track says Robinson going to swarm Paul and overwhelm him until he quits and gets kicked. I like how you guys are just breaking this down, like if you know and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Money 915 says, shout out to the 915, baby. Hispanic Causin panic. Check it out. Robinson's going to stop him in the 1st round by KO. One right hand from Robinson puts the other guy to sleep. Come on, guys. Break it down. Win some money. You guys can do this, okay? Nate Robinson is 3-time dunk champion and 5'9", jumped over Howard.
He jumped over Dwight Howard. Yeah, he's 5'9", jumped over Dwight Howard, man.
Oh, he's not even 6 feet tall?
Nope.
Oh, come on.
He's a freak athlete, man. No doubt about it. This guy can jump out of the gym.
Okay, jump. Like, what are they? Okay, jump. Like, what is jumping going to do in a boxing fight? Can somebody explain to me? Now, granted, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen, right? But I guess I got to go with the professional athlete, you know what I mean? But can he fight? You know what I mean? I don't know. Who's training him? Does anybody know?
I have no clue. But look, Nate looks like he's got bigger biceps than this guy. Look at him, man. He's ripped. Look at him. He's ready to go.
Hey, but doesn't Paul have Let's Go Champ? Doesn't he have Let's Go Champ in the corner? Let's go Champ. No?
Santeo says Jake Paul starts the fight utilizing the jab. By the second round, by second, third, he gets started to go to the body. Robinson has no answers for the stiff jab. Robinson gets dropped in the 4th. Makes it to the bell. Oh man, that's what I'm talking about. I like the breakdowns that I'm seeing from you guys, man.
More people have come in already. Come on, tell us, how's the fight gonna go? Win some money. Ooh. Look, we got 24 people now. See? Hey, yo, win some money. Tell us how the fight's gonna go. Ain't nobody gonna pay you money to predict the fight and get it right. Ain't nobody doing that. Come on, tell us how it's gonna go. Let's see.
we start talking about money and they show up. You know what I'm saying? Put it in the chat, guys. I want your breakdown.
HCP. It's our normal HCP numbers here. In fact, we were kind of low today, but it's okay. More people coming in. But let me tell you something right now. I have no idea how you guys are breaking this shit down, but I want to hear it anyway. Okay? I want to hear the shit anyway, is what I want to hear. I want you guys to tell me how the fucking fight's going to go down. Okay? How is Nate versus Jake? Oh, shit, going to go. Okay?
BJ
Jake
Flores
is
training.
Paul, baby. Yeah, right.
BJ Flores is training Paul according to Run PMC. Could you fact check who's training Nate Robinson, man? If anybody's training him at all.
We gotta break this shit down. Like I know all the listeners leaving the ring right now. Like, what are we really breaking this shit down? Well, that's what we're doing. You know what I mean? Now, I like celebrity fights. I just want bigger names tonight. It's too cool. Hey, YouTube celebrities is the new thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess
what,
so.
You think we're gonna get like LeBron James versus like The Rock or some shit or what? You know what I mean? Like, what do you want, dude? Come on, 92AKU. Fat Man's going to chop in the middle of the ring during the fight. Hey, if that happens, hey, Cholo, before you out, he's got $5.
Unfortunately, from my understanding, Fan Man is no longer with us. But that would be crazy. Yeah, I believe at the end of the
kill him. Did a Riddick Bowe like?
I know his team did a number on him. They were hitting him with those big 1990 cell phones in the head, but he landed ringside. But I believe at the end of that Legendary Nights documentary, they said he passed away.
Yeah, well. Hey, you guys keep dropping those predictions, and because they're going to be on the archive. Whoever gets it closer again, $5. You can go to Subway and buy yourself a $5 footlong. You know what I mean?
There you go.
There you go. It's as simple as that. RP James Miller says Bruce goes.
That's him then. Yeah.
Right.
The Fan Man.
Fan Man. Yo, hey. Is Danny Garcia being overlooked, GFunky? Is it being overlooked here?
It's a good question, man, because Spence has been doing a lot of talking about guys like Crawford. He's been doing a lot of talking about guys like Canelo. Somebody want to move up and fight Canelo and things like that. There's a possibility of that always. Anytime you hear fighters talking about other guys, but I'm going to say no, he's not, because from what I've seen from Spence, he looks in tremendous shape for this fight.
Right.
I mean, the guy looks cut up, ripped. He looked like he could fight right now. I think he might be close to 147 right now. He looked ready to go in the open media workout that I seen the other day. So I would say no. Now, if he came in looking a little soft, then I might be thinking, yeah, maybe he's overlooking Danny Garcia. But I think he understands just like we do. Danny Garcia is a good fighter, man. And this is not an easy fight for him at all, even pre-crash. Now, I hate to keep saying this, but we have to keep that in mind, you know. But it's a tough fight for him, man, no doubt about it. So I don't think he's overlooking him. But there's always an opportunity there to overlook a guy, especially when you got big fights, possibility of much bigger fights on the horizon. But I think he's prepared, man.
Hey, look, check it out. I mean, look, maybe Spence himself. I mean, look. I still don't think it's a good idea to be talking about other fighters like you know, whether it's Terrence Crawford or whoever, right? I don't think that's a good idea whatsoever. But you know, or Canelo, which we'll talk about in a little bit, you know. But you know, what about the fans, GFunky? It looks like the fans are just assuming, hey, Spence gonna get over this, you know, whatever. Right, let's move on. But I think there's more questions than answers going into this fight. I mean, I can't believe we're that confident. There's just a lot of unknowns. You know what I mean? Like, there just is a lot of unknowns. Like, the way I'm picking this fight is as if the crash never happened, because that's just an X factor. But I just don't know. I don't know. You know, our fans just overlooking this, already talking, you know, Crawford, already talking Canelo, already talking other fighters. What do you think, GFunky?
I mean, yeah, I think there are some fans that are definitely overlooking Danny Garcia here. I think once the fight's over and we see that it's a tough, close fight, people are going to be saying like, yeah, I underestimated Garcia, no doubt about it. There's just, there's no way around it, man. There's a lot of questions about Spence going into this fight, but I'm going in. I'm going to do my prediction. It's going to be dropping real soon, guys, but I'm going to go into it without that in my mind. I'm going to predict it, break it down as if that never happened, because again, like I told Kenny when he was here, like I don't want to take away any credit from Garcia if he does pull the win off,
I mean, sometimes, we just got to call a spade a spade. I mean, that crash was real. It happened. Spence doesn't remember that night. He doesn't remember a week in the hospital. All right. He lost teeth. Okay. He had to get other ones placed in. I mean, he was out for a while. It took a while to get him back in the ring. I mean, this is real here. I mean, this happened. And it could have no effect. It could have some effect. It can have a traumatic effect. Nobody knows here. And I do believe Garcia is being overlooked because here's the moment. Can anyone tell me for a fact that they know how he's going to react when he gets punched in the face? Nobody could tell me that. All right? Nobody. No, nobody knows. We can guess. We could speculate. He could say he is, and he'll take it. And he'll say, see, I knew it. Ain't nobody know, man. Nobody knows. You got any final thoughts on this one, GFunky?
I could just say I can only speak for myself. I definitely think that it's a good close fight and very winnable for Danny Garcia. And I think some of you guys that are overlooking him, I think you guys are going to be in for a surprise come fight night. I don't think he should be overlooked by Spence. I think it'll be a huge mistake on his part.
Absolutely. Recent story came out on Boxing Scene, although this is not the first time that this has been put out there at all. Okay, but GFunky, well, what do you think about Spence versus Canelo as a potential fight? Spence keeps talking about the fight at 160.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I mean, I know he keeps talking about it, but I think Canelo beats him at 160, but I don't think Canelo is going to fight at 160 anymore. So that's a fight that I just don't think it will happen anymore. I think could Spence maybe be at 168 eventually? I mean, I don't know. I think 160 might be his max, if I'm being honest. But we don't know. He hasn't fought above 147 yet, so eventually he's going to move to 154. We'll see how he looks there, and then we'll see how he looks at 160, and if he's able to carry that weight well at 168 and take a punch from those guys at 168. But I think those days at 160 for Canelo are over, man. So I don't see that fight happening, man. But I think if it was to happen, I would take Canelo.
Gogaruga says, I think Garcia's going to win that fight. Spence won't have the same durability as he did before the crash. So he's, saying that is going to be an issue. A-Rod, Garcia losses haven't been clean wins. It's split decisions. I think he has a big puncher's chance. And Tuaku says what's going to happen is what we all think. Danny's going to lose a close fight. I hope I'm wrong, though, because I'm rooting for Spence. Sonteo says Danny Garcia might not have taken said he might not have taken it to the next level. Thurman and Porter, but I feel he's pumped for the Spence fight. We might see fireworks from Danny. Okay. So, and I hear you with that one, Goruga, even though, you just feel that the crash is what it is, but you're still pulling for Spence. Look, man, I don't know why Spence would want to fight Canelo 160. I just don't think it would be a good fight for him. I think Canelo knocks out Spence, to be honest with you. That's what I think. You know what I mean? I think it stops him. I think he's too big for Spence. I mean, keep in mind, he's going to weigh in at 160, but Canelo's going to be like 170 for the fight.
I'd say probably more around 175, which is usually what he doesn't really do the same day weights. Like, how we used to see that a lot of the time, like what the guys rehydrated to. Like, it's kind of a thing of the past now, but I remember specifically they asked him before the Lara fight, and this was at 155, and this was about 7 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. They asked him how much he weighed on that night. He said, "Well, I'm weighing what I always weigh on fight night. I weigh 172, I think." So he's bigger now, so he might be 180 fight night. Who knows? We don't know. He's not stepping on the scale anymore fight night, but he's much bigger than Spence. That's for sure, I think, man. And yeah, I agree with you, man. I don't think that's a good fight for Spence.
So make sure you guys throw a jab at the like button. If you're listening on archive, make sure you throw a jab as well. Hit the subscribe button if you like the content, and always hit that bell button. That way you're notified when DStyle Boxing comes on live, especially Hispanic on Tuesdays, and the roundtable, which is usually on Thursdays. However, it is Thanksgiving, so a lot of people cannot make it that night. So we have a jam-packed roundtable for you tomorrow. Boxing Wave in the ring with Christine, Dave Duenes, Milcar. I mean, we have a GFunky, myself, the Hispanics, Hispanics will be there as well as from Ringside Reporter, Jay Habib, 401, 408, Dave. So we have a jam-packed roundtable. So make sure you guys definitely tune in tomorrow for that. It's gonna be a monster show. All right. Look, GFunky, I know you're pumped up for this fight. Okay, I know you're pumped. I'm pumped. We're all pumped. Okay, we're all pumped. Let me tell you something. We're all pumped for ice cream. No, but look. I mean, Rosado versus Jacobs, bro. let me tell you something. For years, the fans have demanded that fight. You know what I mean? The fans were saying, we want Rosado versus Jacobs. Rosado versus Jacob. Like, that's the fight we wanted to see. I mean, we've been clamoring for Rosado. I mean, all day, every day. We want to see him get another shot. I mean, if anybody's definitely not shot, it's definitely Rosado. Okay? People think we're saying he's shot. No, we're saying give him another shot. You know what I mean? Rosado versus Jacobs. I mean, how pumped from a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being dumpster juice and 10 being like supernova. You know what I mean? How pumped is GFunky for this fight?
Well, since you put it that way, G-Funk is a star, and he's getting ready to explode. I'm a supernova about this fight, okay? And look at my eyes. You see that? I ain't bullshitting. All right, now. Oh, man. This fight, I wouldn't call it as close to dumpster juice, but I think Rosado got a little bit left in him, just a little tiny bit.
Just call it
but
juice.
I don't want, because I honestly think that Rosado's going to come out here and really, really try to win the fight early.
Just do it.
I'm gonna say number 2. I'm gonna give it a 2. I'm gonna give it 2. I'm not gonna give it a 1 because I feel like Rosado knows right now that he's got to do something now, or this is it for him. He loses to Danny Jacobs and loses badly. There's no way he's getting any opportunity like this again. This is it for him. And I think he's one of those fighters that understands that. And I think he's one of those fighters that knows, look, I got to go out here and do something, because if I don't, this is it. So I think he's going to come out and try to press Rosado. I think he's going to come out and try to press him.
At all. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's going to try to press Jacobs early and try to put some heat on him. But I just think Danny Jacobs is much better at this point in his career, and I'm going to take Jacobs for the win. But that's the only reason why I'm not going to give it an official dumpster juice, because I feel like Rosado can come out there and try his best, to win the fight and have some moments early.
Here's the reality. I mean, this is a fighter that. If you press him, you can make a good fight. We saw that with Chavez Jr. Was winning the fight and then just quit. You know what I mean? But he was winning the fight with Jacobs. Now, I do believe Jacobs was coming on and he was going to take over the fight and win, but we don't know that, right? But I think Rosado can follow that blueprint. Have something early to start with, and then see how the second half of the fight goes. But I do believe Rosado will probably. He might win the first 3 rounds. It's possible. At least 2 of the first 3. And then I think Jacobs will take over, and I think it's going to be a pretty boring fight.
Unless, Rosado's face doesn't hold up. He's very prone to cutting. I mean, if you just blow on his face hard, he might start bleeding, Unfortunately for him, that's been kind of the tale of his career. But I think he's going to come in there and he knows he's going to have to get down early. And like you said, when Chavez Jr. pressed Jacobs, it was entertaining, and I think we kind of know that he knew that Jacobs was starting to take over because he quit. That just tells you all you need to know right there. Like, well, I feel a little heat coming back. I'm out of here. You know, classic Chavez Jr.
He was starting to put it on shot, and Jacobs, kid's pretty solid, and he was feeling them, and he said, "Okay, I'm out of here." Okay,
Yeah,
that's the story of Chavez Jr. When
Jacobs
out in the kitchen, the dude gets out of there. That's the story.
When Jacobs decides to sit on his punches, and I mean when I say that, when he sits down on his shots, he can crack with the best of them, man. I just think a lot of the times he doesn't do that. He tends to slap a lot with his shots, and that's something that needs to be fixed. I have not seen him fix that yet. I've seen that a lot in Triple G.
It's not gonna get fixed.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot with Canelo in the Canelo fight. He slaps a lot with his shots, but when he sits down and lets those shots go properly, he can hurt guys. I mean, we've seen it. So I think he will have no issue doing that against Rosado, but we'll see if Rosado can take those shots early, man. I think he can.
I just think look, Jacobs is who he is. You know what I mean? Like at this point, he ain't gonna fix anything. He is who he is. Do you see Jacobs doing anything at 168 pounds, GFunky? Even winning this fight?
It's hard to say because fighting his two fights going into that division or Chavez Jr. and Rosado, I mean, it's too hard to say right now.
How about Yildirim versus Jacobs 2021, okay, for the WBC championship? What's up? Are y'all pumped? I know the chat is pumped right now. I know GFunky's pumped. That's the fight to make. Jacobs, Yildirim, 2021, the WBC, the green belt, baby. Let's do this. 168 pounds for WBC supremacy. Hey, I'm ready. Okay, and let me tell you, Suleiman's ready. Like, the important thing is that the champion like Jacobs to fight Yildirim, a guy who put up a good fight 4 years ago against a really good opponent. And this is the fight to make for the WBC.
That was a good impression, dude.
Jacobs have close fight with Triple G and with Canelo, and he proved himself to be a champion for champions. And the fight with Yildirim will crown a WBC champion.
I think one of the latest comments we got, they said they saw an interview with Jacobs and he wants the Canelo or Smith winner. That's not happening. And then he says, or Billy Joe Saunders. I think Billy Joe Saunders is a reality if he wins against Rosado. And I think it's an interesting fight. I think Billy Joe, I mean, I don't like the guy personally. He does a lot of stupid things outside of the ring, but his style can give a lot of guys issues, man.
But the reality is he is a champion of champions, is what he is.
Yeah.
We went to Hawaii and we had a vote in a WBC. 3/4 vote. And now Jacobs legitimately was voted by the WBC board of directors, and he is now to fight for the 168-pound super middleweight championship. What is only time will tell how he will be as a champion.
Yeah. I mean, the WBC with all these stupid things that they do, man. I mean, it's almost like the Clash of the Champions back in the old WCW days. I mean, we had the World Tag Team Champions. We had the United States Tag Team Champions. We had the Cruiserweight Champion. We had the Television Champion. We had the United States Champion. We had the World Champion. Like, that's what this is, the Clash of the Champions. With
what
the WBC,
we will do is put him in a championship fight, and it's legitimized because we vote, and it takes 3/4 vote to pass all the rules. What is it that you do not understand, GFunky?
I don't understand. I just don't. Sorry, Mauricio. Sorry, man.
The reality is, this is the reality. The WBC has a board of directors, and they vote. And they voted for the championship fight. Anyway, we're gonna.
All right. I was just gonna say, I'm getting ready to put these gloves on and punch your lights out, Mauricio. All right.
Oh man, look. This is what I'll say. Mauricio Suleiman, bro, will have an explanation. Like, his explanation to everything is that there was a vote. You know what I mean? Like, who are these guys that vote? Like, who are the boards of directors? You know what I mean? How does one become like part of the board? You know, does anybody know? I don't think anybody knows.
These are tremendous questions. Can I apply to be on the panel? I want to go to Hawaii and vote. Why can't GFunk go to Hawaii and vote on who becomes the next franchise, Cracker Jack, whatever it is, champion that they come up with?
Why do they have to go to Hawaii to vote? Like I just like how that makes it official. By the way, you know what I mean? Like, not only did we vote, we went to Hawaii to vote. Like so what?
Hawaii's where it goes down, bro. You know,
hey, Hawaii's the place to do it. You know what I mean? For sure.
Have you ever been, bro? Real quick, have you ever been?
Hawaii? No.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. You got to go out there one time, man. Got to go out there one time.
I've been to Seattle. You been to Seattle?
Actually, no. That's a place I do want to go to, though, man. In the future.
I mean, gas is expensive as shit. Half of the city's communist and shit, but other than that, you're good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I swear to God, bro, they got like communist monuments over there. I couldn't believe it. I was like, am I in America? What the fuck is this? You know what I mean? Like, what the hell, bro? Only half, though, not everybody. You know what I mean? Like, that was a little too much for me. You know what I mean? Shout out to that. Who says, "Ha ha, DStyle, your best impression." Okay, like, you want to ask Mauricio a question you've always wanted to know, GFunky? Go ahead. I mean, we got him on the line. Go ahead.
I think I heard enough. I've heard more than enough.
The board of directors have voted, and they have voted that 92 AKU will be part of the board of directors, and he will go to Hawaii to vote. There you go. All right.
There it is.
Hey, speaking of shit I don't want to hear about, but we're like, since it's happening and we cover boxing, we got to talk about it. So Jones. So according to the rules, right? And you'll go more into detail for me, but
yeah, I will.
Tyson Jones, right? I just want to get this straight. A knockout can happen. So even if you knock a dude out, like, it's not a knockout. Like nobody saw it. It didn't happen. Okay, you know that saying? If a tree falls in the middle of the forest, did it really happen?
Yeah.
The answer to that is yes, by the way. Yes, the tree did fall. You know what I mean? Well, actually, that's not even, what am I talking about? That's not even the saying. The saying is, if a tree falls in the middle of the ocean, did it make a sound? Right? So if Tyson knocks out Jones, did he really knock him out? Because according to the rules, there ain't no knockout.
You can't.
But what does that mean? You can't knock him out. Like, what does that mean? What if he literally knocks him out? Well, what if he's literally like knocked unconscious in the mat? Like, is that not a knockout? What's up, Bam Bam? What are you doing?
This is strange. Definitely. I got a lot of information here about this event that's going on Saturday, and I want to start off. I want to get this out of the way first. All right. So according to the promoters, the ring walks for both of these guys, Tyson and Jones, are going to start at 11 p.m. Pacific time. That's what, 2 a.m. over on the East Coast? I mean, wow, that is crazy. I mean, if you guys in the East Coast are planning on ordering this fight and wanting to stay up to watch the main event, you're gonna have to stay up pretty late to watch that one. But I also want to mention this, that there's gonna be like a mini concert, from what I'm hearing, in between the fights. I guess there's gonna be Lil Wayne, YG. And get this, somebody with a rapper's name is The Baby. Now, I had to confirm with my sister-in-law. Shout out to my sister-in-law, by the way, who was watching. Thank you for this information. But I had to confirm with her because she listens to this type of stuff. I don't listen to a lot of hip-hop these days. I just don't. But I had to confirm with her, is there really a guy named Da Baby out there that raps? I mean, what kind of a name is that? I thought these guys were supposed to be tough. I think these guys are supposed to be, big, tough guys, their image, but you want to call yourself Da Baby. Like, I mean, kind of crazy. But apparently these three guys are going to be performing their songs. I don't know if it's going to be in between fights or what, but that's what we got going on. And that's why these guys are going to be walking out so late. From my understanding, the card is going to start at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and that's 10 over in the East Coast. So, I mean, again, you guys in the East Coast, man, you guys are kind of screwed over with the time and everything. But the fight is 8 rounds. 2-minute rounds. Not 3-minute rounds, but 2-minute rounds for this fight. Both guys will be wearing headgear, and both guys are wearing 12-ounce gloves. So I guess now, okay, let me say some more before I say what I was going to say. Like DStyle said, there is no knockout allowed in this fight. You cannot knock a guy out, according to the California State Athletic Commission. How that happens, how can you stop somebody from knocking somebody out when you're fighting? I just don't know how you do that. I really don't know how. I mean, I just don't understand that. But they're also saying this, and they're saying this to the press, that this is going to be like hard sparring. Hard sparring. I guess that's where they get the gloves, the 12-ounce gloves, and the headgear. Hard sparring here, man. And like, let me just show you guys something real quick. This right here. Now, this is not a professional glove, obviously. You got Velcro on it, but this is a 12-ounce glove. I don't know if you guys can see that number there, but this is a 12-ounce glove. And like, let me put it on here, man. Like, I use this every day when I hit the bag, and like, there's a good amount of padding here on this thing, man. So maybe that's where they're coming up with this no knockout allowed. You got headgear, you got 12-ounce gloves on. I mean, I feel like if I hit somebody with this without headgear on, I could hurt them pretty good. I was thinking if they really wanted to stop these guys from knocking each other out, like this here.
I got gloves too, by the way. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying I got a glove too. That's a nice glove.
Yeah. This one is a 14-ounce glove. This is a little bit bigger. This is the one that my wife uses because she, she's got little hands and she wants to protect her hands on the bag and stuff. So this one here, man, like this one right here, I think will do a lot of good protection. There you go.
My knuckle, baby.
There you go.
Let's go, GFunky.
Let's go, baby.
I don't know, man. I don't know that I do.
I feel like this size glove would do those guys much more protection from being knocked out.
GFunky, like, let me tell you something. I knocked GFunky out right now, bro. Like I feel like, I don't know if you guys can, I feel like he's challenging me to a fight by putting on these gloves, so I have to take off my gloves. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Oh, that jab's coming off quick, baby.
Boom! You know what I mean?
So back to some of the stuff here, man. Okay, now again, according to the California State Athletic Commission, there are no official judges for this fight. How do you feel about that? No official judges for this fight.
No, but they got Christy Martin.
Yep, Christy Martin, Vinny Pazienza, and Chad Dawson. I don't know how he gets thrown in the mix, but Chad Dawson gets thrown into the mix.
Like, I think I'm going to enjoy him more as a judge than I did as a fighter. You know what I mean? I think he might be more entertaining that way. But I'll say this. Look, come on. You never saw Chad Dawson fight you loved, right? Or like, the
only one that I recall that I liked was...
Were you on the edge of your seat watching a Chad Dawson fight? Ever?
No.
Like, were you like this? Like, oh, shit. Like, did that ever happen in a Chad Dawson fight?
Only when he fought Andre Ward. But
yeah, but that was one-sided fight.
Here's a question I have for you and for the chat. Vinny Pazienza is a guy who fought Roy Jones Jr. when Jones was in his prime. Jones styled and profiled on him, you know. Do you think that he will be unbiased in his judging duties in this fight?
Sure, why not? Shout out to Raw Boxing, by the way.
Hey, what's up, Raw Boxing? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, well, why not? I don't see. I don't have a reason to believe that he won't be. You know what I mean?
I agree. I mean, when I first heard that he was
I
going
was
to be
thinking
a
they put him in
judge,
a song and stuff or something.
yeah, I was thinking like, oh boy, like Vinny Pazienza.
Look, everybody, we need a second version of like you must have forgot about all the times he got knocked out. You know what I mean?
What's that?
When Danny Green caught me with a in a sweet spot, you must have forgot. When I went down under and Danny Green caught me on a sweet spot, you must have forgot. You know what I mean? When Antonio Tarver made me miss the straight, they caught me with a hook.
Yeah.
You know? Like
And
I think we need a new song. We need a new version of You Must Have Forgot.
And thanks for the information, Bam Bam Tweet. Apparently, this guy, Da Baby, is a big time gangster in the streets, man. So thanks for the information there. I appreciate that. Like I said, I had to double check with my sister-in-law about these rap guys. Like I said, I'm not a big hip hop guy anymore. I used to be when I was younger,
Tyson.
you know.
Mike Tyson caught me with a hook and knocked me out, but the rule said no knocked out. You must have forgot.
How does that happen? Like,
can't knock him out, bro. Like if you, in other words, everyone who watches this event, right, when you purchase it, you have to agree that if you see a knockout, the knockout didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
Right.
I want to know how they're going to stop.
But I saw the knockout. Wasn't me.
How they're going to stop Tyson from dipping
but I
low
saw the hook
and coming
land.
up.
Wasn't me. We even caught it on camera. Wasn't me.
Was it me?
No, there was no knockout. None.
Yeah.
You know?
When
Mike Tyson caught me with that big right hand, I went down, but the rule said no knockout. You must have forgot. You know what I mean? Don't forget now, there's no knockouts in this fight.
I gotta admit, it took a lot of steam out of the event for me hearing that.
Why would you say that? Why would you put that out there? Like, hey, no knockouts. Like, wait, what? What do you mean no knockouts? Like, what do you mean a knockout can't happen? Nobody could get knocked out. Like, what does that mean? So, like, can he get penalized for hitting too hard?
Maybe they'll just stop the fight if somebody gets rocked or something. You know, like, oh, he's hurt. You know, stop the fight.
Here's the situation. We had a boat in Hawaii. 3/4 decide there'll be no knockout, and they will fight with 20-ounce gloves. I mean, look at that. They have some big ass gloves. Okay, like I'm talking big gloves. Like I'm talking like big. You know those play ones that they have.
The Hulk hands, fight with the Hulk hands, you know, like, or how about this? Put them in those, like, you ever see those people that they buy those big sumo outfits and they're like full of air or something, and they fight in that, like, they might as well just do that, you know, like, let's just guarantee there's no knockout that way. Like, that's the best way.
So there are no winners and there are no knockouts. Like, what are we watching here?
Yeah,
like,
and you can't win. That's another thing. Yeah, nobody's gonna win.
You can't win. So you can't win. But the judges are for the belt, the BLM belt.
And why even have judges? Like, if you're not going to have official
judges. If the WBC wants to do a good thing for Black Lives Matter, why are they charging a sanctioning fee? Like, what is this? Like, you're making money out of it. Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
Come on, Suleiman. Well, see, what happened is we believe in putting the voice of the people. So of course, we need to charge a sanctioning fee. What type of ridiculous question is this?
That's crazy. Are they really charging a sanctioning fee for a
I don't know. I actually don't know, but I'm assuming they are.
Nothing will surprise me, man. Nothing will surprise me.
Like, it will be the first time they bother doing this without charging.
Yeah.
So let me just tell you something, man. This idea. So basically, if there's a quote unquote, like somebody gets knocked down, right? Does that mean they stop the fight? Does that mean they wait till he's okay and up? Because it's hard sparring, right?
That's what they said. Hard sparring is what The state athletic
and there's no
commission
knockout.
said-
So does that mean like Tyson could catch Roy Jones with a big shot, and then like they'll kind of stop them from going at it and wait for Roy Jones to recover and then go at it again? Is that what I'm hearing?
That's, I mean, your explanation is just as good as mine, and it's a complete mystery. Like, how do you? I don't know how you don't allow a knockout to happen. Like, it just if a guy gets hurt and you stop it, that's a knockout, right or wrong.
Right.
Right.
Why are you stopping? Oh, we're just gonna have, we're gonna give him some water. Here, have some water. You know what I mean? Like what? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean it can be a knockout? Like, doesn't make sense. They're throwing punches at each other. A knockout can happen.
I have to admit that this really took some steam out of it for me, man. Like, the little bit of interest that I had in it, now that it's almost here, hearing all this stuff, I was like, oh God.
And then people got to pay for it. Like,
yep.
So it's at 2 a.m. in the East Coast. You got to pay for it. And then, but here's the thing: it's not just sparring.
It's hard.
It's hard sparring. Okay, this is some real sparring right here. Okay. You know what? Like, I see hard sparring like all the time in gyms. Like, it's not like something special. So in other words, glorify sparring, right?
And that's the funny thing about trying to use the word sparring, because you've sparred, you've been in gyms. A couple of guys in the chat, I know Raw Boxing has, but like, I remember being told the first time I sparred with somebody, like, look, if you don't want to get hit hard, then don't hit hard. Like, just work on it, work what you want to work with. But if you hit somebody hard, like, you're gonna have to expect somebody to hit your ass hard back. Like, that's just the nature of the sport in general. Like, and even with this hard sparring, like, if let's just say Jones lets one of those quick left hands go, and Tyson doesn't like the way it feels, like, what's stopping him from coming and just landing one of those little tight left hooks that he throws? Like, I mean, that's the way sparring goes,
Oh, he just Roy Jones just laid down and went to sleep, everybody. Like, isn't that a knock? No, we don't say that word here. There ain't no knockouts, okay? He went to sleep. Give him a take, What do you mean it can't be a knockout? Like, of course it could be a knockout, unless like they're agreeing to like not throw hard. Dude, what are you paying for? Like, what are you watching? It'd be funny, like, Roy Jones wins, right? And he gonna make a remix of the song and be like, and they said Mike was old. I just made him look old, or some shit like that. Like,
oh man, yeah, this is crazy, man. What's funny to me though is that, like I mentioned earlier, I had to ask my sister-in-law about these hip hop guys who are performing. And she's like, what is there, a concert or something? And I explained to her, I was like, no, these guys are going to be performing on the Jones-Tyson fight this Saturday. She goes, and let me tell you, she does not watch boxing. She's as casual gets. Like, if she's at somebody's house and it's on, like, she might sit down and watch it. But even she was like, Mike Tyson? Like, I remember him. He was good. And I'm like, like, people really have an interest in this once they hear Mike Tyson is back. And I think it's gonna do some good numbers, man. I really do. I just have that feeling.
But like, I guess here's my thing, though, right? Like, who's gonna stay up till 2 a.m. to watch a boxing fight?
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
Late, bro. That's super late. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, there's bars closed at that time.
Yeah. Everybody's home, but then again, I don't know. Well, we'll see. I still think there's a big amount of hardcore Tyson fans out there that are willing to stay up late and watch this thing. But yeah, you guys are going to be up pretty damn late in the East Coast. Shout out to Joe Habib, man, who's in Massachusetts. I know he said he was going to do a play-by-play. I don't know if he's going to do that now with these guys at 2 a.m. We'll see.
You know what it feels like? Like, do you remember, like, the movie Rocky Balboa? Right?
Yeah.
And he's about to start training, right? And Duke's like, all right, well, you got arthritis in your hand, so sparring is out. You know what I mean? Like he can't do this, he can't do that. Like I feel like this is the opposite of that. Like, there's no blunt force trauma, there is no power. Like, it's only sparring. Sparring is in, everything else is out. Like, come on, dude. Who's in a concert again? Bad Bunny, asked A-Rod 83.
No, it's Lil Wayne,
Concert.
YG, and Da Baby. Da Baby. DA Baby. That's his name.
Like the Zone? Is that where the Zone got it from, or what?
I don't know. Apparently, I guess he's pretty good. I mean, my sister-in-law was like, I like him a lot. You know, I was like, okay, I'd never heard of him, but okay, you know.
What's going on over here? Like, do you remember the Nelly concert at the Margarito Pacquiao fight?
Hey,
Nelly sang a love song at a fight, bro. Like,
and
whose idea was that? Nelly wasn't even popular then.
I
He was
know.
just like I just remember like thinking to myself, like, why is Nelly gonna perform at the fight again? Like, what is this? You know, he's singing a love song at fucking Cowboy Stadium, right?
Yeah.
Before Manny Pacquiao versus Antonio Margarito.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what the fuck is going on here? I mean, Bob Arum really like was trying some new stuff. He's trying to like attract the kids. You know what I mean? Like, let's get some Nelly. You know what I mean? Like, hey, but what do you think we should do to bring the younger crowd? Like, you know, we got to get Nelly and we'll have him perform at the pay-per-view. Like, man, ain't nobody care about. Like, he was so out of place, wasn't he? Like
I have
with
to
the
admit,
type of music he sang?
I have to admit, it was kind of weird, and I didn't even know he was coming out. I had a fight party for that fight. I had about 40 people at the house, and
What song did he sing? Do you remember? Do you know anything about Nelly? Are you a Nelly fan?
no, I was never a Nelly
Somebody
fan.
in the chat put when Nelly was singing.
I can ask my sister-in-law again. She was a big Nelly fan.
No, all right, but like, what was Nelly singing? But go ahead, Chief.
I can ask my sister-in-law. She was a big Nelly fan. I think she might have been there too. But
is that why
I
she
don't.
went to the Nelly event? She's like, nah, fuck the fight. I want to go see Nelly.
I think what happened was we were having a fight party because it was a big fight. You know, I'm a big boxing fan, but if I'm not mistaken, I think that fight was around her birthday, so it might have been like she was there too because it was her birthday or something like that. So, yeah, I definitely remember that though.
Just a dream.
Just a. Who answered that?
No, I just looked it up.
Oh, you looked it up? Oh.
Yeah. So they're gonna have some reggaeton at the fight? Is that what they're gonna do?
I don't think so. No.
What's
Doesn't
going
sound
on
like
for
it.
Haplotype? Air Force One? Green Team? What's going on, Haplo? No, for real. Like Nelly was up there, you know, singing "Just a Dream" at Cowboy Stadium before a boxing fight.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. Like, I just didn't understand. I just didn't know, like, did Arum think that was going to help him sell more pay-per-views, or maybe thought it would make it more prestigious to have like an act on there? I don't get it. You know what I mean? You know what else I don't get, you Funky? And you guys, make sure you throw us your questions. We got a little bit of extra time here, by the way. Shoot us your questions, guys. We got some Q&A time. But do you remember the like recently anyway? I feel like with the Showtime cards, they're trying to sell us the pay-per-view when we already bought it. You know what I mean? We're already watching the pay-per-view, and they keep throwing us these promos instead of just getting the fights on. And all that's running through my mind is I already bought the pay-per-view. You don't have to sell me the fight. Just show me the fight.
Yeah, I'm here already.
I just feel like that's something new. I don't think they used to do that much.
Yeah, that is a little weird. I don't like it. I just feel like, especially when they were doing it, they did it a lot for the Santa Cruz Tank Davis fight. But those fights, all those fights ended in knockouts that night on that card. So maybe they're just trying to kill time or something there. I mean,
is that why they had a? Oh, they didn't have a halftime show for that one. So
no, that was the Charlo pay-per-view. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Come on.
That was the longest pay-per-view I've ever seen.
they do a halftime show, and then they still have the Showtime commentators commentate on all the fights again. Like, you just have two guys do that for the last hour. Like, what are you doing? Haplo says, he said in the Aaron voice, the kids like Nelly. They like that Nelly. We got a question here from G Money 915 HCP stand up, and he says, what do you think of Mikey Garcia? Did he waste his talent on inactivity? I don't think he's a top fighter anymore. Here's what I'll say. I think, in my opinion, Mikey Garcia is making a mistake fighting 147. I respect his choice to fight there. I think he should be campaigning at 140 pounds, and I think he would be a force to reckon with there. Okay, I would give Mikey a really good chance against Josh Taylor. All right, I don't care what anybody says. So Mikey Garcia is still, in my opinion, a fighter that could, make a statement. You know what I mean? And at 140. At 147, he's a top 10 fighter, but he's not a top echelon fighter right now. You know what I mean? But I will say this. I mean, he did beat Broner. He did beat
Lipinets.
Well, he beat Lipinets at 140, but he beat Broner and Vargas at 147. And Manny Pacquiao gets credit for those wins, and he's a title holder there now. Why not Mikey? It's not over for Mikey. I think a perfect fight for Mikey right now, and a very winnable fight, is against Manny Pacquiao. Okay, and I think that's the fight he should pursue, and then go to 140. But GFunky, what are your thoughts on that question?
I think the same. His best option is Manny Pacquiao at 147. I just don't think he's. Yeah, I don't think he's a welterweight, man. Although he did show some power against Jesse Vargas by dropping him and hurt him multiple times in that fight, but I still don't think that he belongs at 147. I just think he's too small. There's a lot of good fights at 140 right now. There's a lot of good fights at 140 for him, and even in the future, we know that these guys like Lopez and Haney and some of the other guys down there, they're gonna move up eventually to 140. So. And I mean, and then there's Prograis at 140 now. There's Barrios there. There's a lot of good smoke for him down there at 140. A lot of good money to be made too. So I wouldn't mind seeing him go back down to 140 and fight those guys. But I don't think he beats the Thurmans, the Porters, the Spences, the Crawfords. Like he doesn't beat those guys at 147. You know, he just doesn't.
I like how I stereotyped earlier, and I said maybe Neon Eyes knew what he's saying. You know what I mean? But anyway, Spence Garcia will go the distance. I don't know if that was a question, but let's take it as a question by Bam Bam Tweet. Do you think that fight goes the distance, GFunky? What do you think? You go first with this one. Garcia Spence, distance or knockout?
I'm going to agree with Bam Bam Tweet. I think it goes the distance. Even prior to the car crash, like if that never happened, I would still say the same thing. And in my mind, I'm going off of that. I'm not using that as an excuse if Spence loses or something like that. You know, he says he's fine, so I have no choice but to take his word at this point. He says he's okay. He says he's ready to roll. So hey, he's ready.
He's ready, absolutely. Andrew Charles, how is it going? Member to the channel, I appreciate the support. He says salute, DStyle and GFunky. All right. So tell me that, didn't we have artists perform in between fights when PBC started in 2015 or so? I vaguely remember something like that. What I remember are the WWE entrances. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And then they said that they weren't going to walk out with belts or nothing like that, but that changed quick. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like that changed it quick. But I didn't like that though. Like I didn't like the entrances with the jumbotrons, whatever they were doing. I kind of like the boxers walking out with the entourage, maybe because I'm used to it, because that's in boxing history. That's how they walk out.
Yeah.
You know, like Chavez, who, with the gloves on his trainer's shoulders, or, walking out with whoever it is, fighters walking out, with the robe and the trainers behind him, holding the belts up, that whole good stuff. So, but I don't know. Do you remember that, GFunky?
No, I don't remember that. He could be right. Maybe I just don't remember. Like I said, my memory is not as great as it used to be, especially with newer stuff. I tend to remember more older things. Yep. But no, I don't remember that with PBC. No.
Haplotype says, does Bob Arum think the Charlton is still a thing? I
think that's an old dance. I think the Charleston. I think that's an old time dance from like the 1940s or something, like the Jitterbug days and the Pachucos and shit like that. I think, but maybe he still does.
Is it a good sign that I didn't know what that was? Is that a good sign? Am I young? You know what I mean? Hey, it's the 15th anniversary of my 21st birthday, baby. That's what it is. I'm still 21. You know what I mean? I just turned 21 last month, GFunky. What are you talking about? I mean,
there you go.
Dude.
And I'm 25. You know.
All right. It's too early, but let's just take it anyway. By Sonteo, did Mikey look overweight to you at 147? How do you think he looks at 147, GFunky? Mikey.
I think it would be a little more easier to tell if Mikey, like Mikey's never been the most muscular, ripped, cut up guy. Even when he was in the lower weight classes. So it's kind of hard to tell, I guess, if he's, looked a little over. I mean, I would have to say when I seen him being interviewed in the Chocolatito, in between the Chocolatito and Estrada fight last month, yeah, he definitely looked overweight there, but I think he looked a little, I don't know, man. I think he looked a little bit soft against Spence. And to me, he looked a little bit better in the Vargas fight, but
Absolutely. Grape Drank says, who wins in Charlo versus Canelo? Also, do you think the fight will happen anytime soon?
Good question.
Look, I think, I in my opinion, against either Charlo, I believe Canelo wins. Okay. I just think Canelo's a better fighter overall. Now, granted, I don't think the Charlos are chumps or anything. I mean, they do have a shot to beat Canelo. They are good fighters, in my opinion. I've been covering the Charlo since they were prospects, way back in the Ropedo radio days. I like the Charlo brothers. Okay, I'm not like this new age fan that just jumped on the bandwagon. But I just think Canelo does beat both of them. I think he's a better puncher than both of them. I think he has a better inside game, more especially, and mid-range game than both of them. Okay. Now, granted, I still want to see the fights. I'm an advocate of the fights. Let's see the fights. Okay. Will it happen anytime soon? It just depends. I mean, let's just be honest. Canelo's campaigning at 168 pounds. That's where he's campaigning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Jamal's the most likely one to happen. Does Jamal move up to 168? Jamal said he's willing to do it. His trainer, Rodney Shields, said he's willing to do it. And Canelo's corner, and Canelo himself has said, hey, let's do it. But what I personally don't like is that Canelo literally just came back. He's going to fight a reigning world champion at 168 pounds. And the narrative out there right now is, Canelo's ducking. He's ducking Charlo. He's like, I mean, come on. I mean, that's ridiculous, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, come on. I mean, like, and it goes back to comparing, the most recent resumes. Canelo's beaten two guys that already beat Shevchenko, who is Charlo's best win by far. So, but I definitely want the fight. I hope the fight happens. Will we see it soon? Probably 2022, I think. 2022 when Charlo moves up to 168. But I want to remind everybody that Canelo did offer Charlo the
15 million. Yeah. And that's the thing that people seem to overlook is the fact that his own brother said it. Now, here's the thing, man. I want to say my piece about this. I agree with DStyle. I think he beats both Charlos. But the most likely guy to get that fight would be Jermall Charlo, who's at the bigger weight, the heavier weight. Team Canelo said they're willing to take that fight 2021. So I'm going to hold them accountable to their words. When the new year comes, they got to make that fight happen at some point. And Canelo's a free agent now, so it should be no problem making it unless again Charlo turns down the money. He was offered 15 million. Oscar came out and said they gave him a lucrative offer. Now DStyle and we said, hey, look, we're not just going to take Oscar's word for it. We need evidence. We need proof. And we were called Charlo fanboys for that. We were called Charlo fanboys, the Charlo Club, the Charlo Channel, things like that.
I defended Jermell when there was accusations that they spiked that they put something in the water to help him against Harrison. And again, I mean, keep in mind, part of the argument I used was that the commission is there watching these guys in the corners, and that was accepted, Yep. But now we can't trust the commission now. So if you're going to take that stance, then we got to rewind the tape now, and you got to take the opposite stance that I guess he did put something in the water against Harrison, right?
Yeah, there's a possibility.
So,
and now
believe me, I'm not here like I couldn't speak for myself, right? I'm a fan of the Charlos. As I said, I've been following them for a long, long time, and I've been wanting them to, get their shine. And look, Jermell, he's doing his thing at 154. He's the best 154 pounder right now in the world. Okay, Jermall has a case for 160, and but Canelo's at 168. But I'm sorry, GFunky, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that it's a fight that I want to see, and because I said I wanted to see it, I was called a fanboy of Charlo, which is definitely not true. But
shout out to that too, a coup.
Yeah, to me, there's nothing that I've seen from Jermall Charlo that makes me think he can beat Canelo. I think it's a good fight, but the things that Charlo does the best, which is, you know, he works behind his jab good. He's got a nice counter right uppercut. But the thing, to me, the thing that gives Canelo the most trouble more than anything is movement. He's had trouble with it in the past, and he hasn't been in the ring with a guy with good movement and good boxing skills since Erislandy Lara, which was 6 years ago. So that's why I've said things like, I think Billy Joe's a good fight for him, because Billy Joe's a guy that moves around the ring and he's a southpaw, just like Erislandy Lara. So until I see Canelo in there with somebody that moves around the ring, and then I see him improve on the things that I would like to see him improve on, like cutting off the ring and stuff like that, then I have no choice but to say that movement gives him trouble. But that's not what Charlo does. He just doesn't do that. So I'm favoring Canelo in that fight. And it's not because of any other reason. It's because of the style. That's the reason why.
Yeah, stylistically, and styles do make fights. Look. At the end of the day, if somebody thinks Charlo could win, they're not crazy or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's your opinion, and we won't know until they actually fight. And that's why fighters should fight the fights. I've never been a believer in, hey, let's just assume this guy's better and that's it, or anything like that. Okay, but you know, I was asked. I give my thoughts, and I do believe Canelo would win if they were to fight. I just, what I want people to acknowledge is that Jamal was offered the fight, and look, if Jamal turned it down because he didn't feel that was, I don't have any beef with that at all. I'm not here to say Jamal ducked him, but you can't accuse Canelo ducking him either when you offered him the fight. Maybe it wasn't the right time to do the fight. Maybe the timing wasn't there. Whatever it is, but neither guy is bound to the other guy's schedule, right? So I'm not here to blame anybody. But if we're to blame one guy, I mean, there's one guy that turned down the fight. You know what I mean? But as far as that goes, hey, I'm all for seeing the fight. Haplotype, great comment. You know, Mikey looked emaciated at making 135. He bloated at 147. Maybe 140 is the right place for him. Yes.
This might be the sweet spot. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, Mikey is pretty cut against and in his best shape against Roman Martinez. Was working with Alex Ariza.
If Santeo's here, I know he knows a lot of information about Mikey, but I thought I heard a video one time, a long time ago, that he said this guy doesn't even do sit-ups in training. Like, he just well, a lot of guys do that.
It wasn't sit-ups. It wasn't sit-up. I think it was jump rope.
Okay. So I knew it was something, yeah.
They don't believe in jump rope in that training camp. I think it's a horrible thing, but hey, you know. But then again, I mean, Garcia's proved successful.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to like argue. Like, how many champions have I trained? Garcia, like,
a lot.
You know, so it is what it is. You know, even Benavidez said he's ducking why Canelo offered him the fight. Well, he didn't make weight, but we're not gonna go over that. Okay, Batman, good point, but I disagree with the outcome. But you're definitely right. He has a problem with movement.
Yeah.
I just don't think Canelo would move back down to 160 at this point. Now, here's what I want to ask you. I mean, if Canelo moves down to 160 to make a fight with Errol Spence, right? I just don't think Canelo's going to get credit for that win. That's got to be honest. I don't think he's going to get credit for the win at all. Not if it's just like if Spence goes from 147 to 160 to fight him. He's not going to get credit. Just like Triple G didn't really get credit for beating Cal Brook in 160. So
it's a good point. I think if Spence works his way up there, you know, then these guys will have no choice but to give him credit, you know. But if it's one of those things where, let's say, you know, hypothetically, he beats Danny Garcia impressively and says, you know what, now I'm moving up to 160 to fight Canelo. Crawford don't want to fight me. I'm moving up to 160. Like, then there's the door that's open for the excuse. Like, he won't get no credit, just like you said, Triple G with Kell Brook. But I think if he walks his way up there in a couple years, you know, and Canelo's still at 168, then the fight probably makes sense. By that time, Spence will be a 3-time or probably a 3-division champion. And
yeah, but by that time, can Canelo make 160?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, it would be one of those things where, if is it worth the money for Canelo to say, you know what, I'll make 160 for it. You know, it could be. I mean, if, like I said, if he wins belts at 154 and then he wins a belt at 160, like, I mean, that'd be kind of hard to pass up at that point, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. Well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, we got to see that happen first. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll kind of go from there for sure. But I don't think Canelo doing a catch weight would do him any service either.
No, nope.
Like, either he can make that weight or he can't. But that's my opinion on that. I want to thank everyone who tuned in. A-Rod says he's not going to get credit, but trash because he didn't take the fight. Why didn't Andrade and versus Spence? Because Andre said he'll fight him. I mean, we'll see about that. It is what it is. I always think Canelo versus Charlo at Andre at 160. Yeah, I mean, there's fights that could be made. But with that said, guys, we had some time for some Q&A this time. So that's good. Okay, we'll do more every week. I want to thank everybody that tuned in. This is DStyle Boxing, and for Chief Funky 84, we'll be rolling the hell out of here. Tune in tomorrow. Big round table.
Going down, baby.
We're out. Peace.
Panic, closing, panic, Lascano.